Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans, do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel because here we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey Cowboys fans, today we're diving deep into one of the most recent and impactful developments in the team's ongoing saga. A story that has already sent shockwaves through the NFL community and will surely influence the Cowboys' path for the rest of this season and beyond. If you've been following the Cowboys, you know how unpredictable this season has been, with ups, downs, and moments that keep us all on the edge of our seats. But what just happened in that game against the Chargers? Well, hold on to your hats because this one is a game changer, and we're going to analyze every detail, every implication, and what it means for the Cowboys' future. So let's start with the basics. The Dallas Cowboys, a team that has always been under intense scrutiny, especially in recent years, suffered a tough loss at AT&T Stadium, dropping their record to 6-8-1. That's right, after a roller coaster of a game. They fell 34-17 to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now on paper, a 17-point loss might not seem catastrophic, but when you consider the circumstances, the performance, and the injury that ensued, it's a story that warrants a much deeper look. The game itself was a tale of two halves, with the Cowboys showing flashes of promise in the first, but ultimately falling flat in the second, especially on offense, which was shut out entirely in the final two quarters. And what about the defense? Well, that's where things get even more complicated. The defense, which has been a point of concern all season, once again struggled to contain Justin Herbert and the Chargers' offense. Herbert, a quarterback known for his arm strength and playmaking ability, threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, dismantling what was supposed to be a stout Dallas defense. But the real story here is not just the on-field performance. It's what happened off the field, more specifically, the incident involving linebacker Denzel Perryman and wide receiver Ryan Flournoy. Now, this incident is a perfect example of how a single play can ripple through a team's season, affecting morale, discipline, and even the future roster. During a crucial moment in the game's second quarter, Perryman delivered a hit that the NFL deemed excessively violent and unnecessary. The play was flagged for unnecessary roughness, but the fallout was much more significant than just a penalty. Perriman's hit was delivered directly to the helmet area of Flournoy after he had already made a catch and was on the ground. The impact was severe enough to cause a knee injury that initially looked serious, and in fact, Flournoy himself described hearing a click and a pop in his knee. This injury at first glance looked like it could be catastrophic. Given Flournoy's history, having torn his ACL before, anyone watching would have been bracing for the worst. The team and fans alike feared a long recovery, potentially missing a significant chunk of the upcoming season. But here's where the story takes a surprising turn. The NFL didn't just penalize Perriman with a flag, they suspended him for 2 games. That's a hefty suspension and indicates that the league views this play as part of a pattern of violations, especially considering Perriman's history of repeated infractions. According to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Perriman's suspension was not just a reflexive punishment, but a calculated response to his repeated violations of player safety rules. So, what does this mean for the Cowboys? First, let's talk about Flournoy, the young wide receiver, who has been making waves as a promising player, catching 35 passes for 47 yards and 4 touchdowns this season, managed to escape a potentially career-altering injury. ESPN's Todd Archer reported that despite initial fears, Flournoy was able to return to practice on Monday, albeit in a limited capacity, just days after the injury. That's remarkable, especially considering the severity of the initial injury and Flournoy's previous ACL tear. It speaks to the resilience of the player and the medical staff's quick response. But beyond the immediate impact, this incident raises bigger questions about player safety, discipline, and the culture within the league. The NFL's decision to suspend Perriman highlights a shift towards stricter enforcement of rules designed to protect players from reckless and dangerous hits. It also prompts us to reflect on how such plays can influence team dynamics. Will Perriman's absence affect the Chargers' defense? How will this suspension influence the Cowboys' upcoming games, especially with a critical matchup against the Commanders on Christmas Day? It's not just about one player or one game, it's about the ripple effects on the team's morale, discipline, and strategic adjustments. Now, let's zoom out and analyze the broader context. The Cowboys are currently battling not just injuries, but also inconsistency. Their offense, led by quarterback Dak Prescott, has shown flashes of brilliance but has also struggled with turnovers and stalled drives. Prescott himself has been under scrutiny, with some fans questioning his decision-making and the offensive line's ability to protect him. Meanwhile, C.D. Lamb continues to be a bright spot, a star receiver, who's caught 73 passes for over 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. His chemistry with Prescott has been evident, and fans are eager to see that connection grow stronger as the season progresses. On the other side of the ball, the defense has been a mixed bag. While players like Micah Parsons have been relentless, the overall unit has struggled against high-powered offenses. The Chargers' ability to score 34 points at AT&T Stadium underscores some defensive vulnerabilities. That being said, the suspension of Perriman might bring some discipline to the unit, but it also leaves a void that other linebackers will need to fill. The question is, can the Cowboys' defense step up in Perriman's absence? Or will this incident expose deeper issues on that side of the ball? Let's not forget that the Cowboys are still fighting for a playoff spot. With a record of 6-8-1, every game is a must-win, and every injury or suspension can be the difference between postseason glory and an early offseason. The NFC South is tightly contested this year, with multiple teams vying for limited playoff spots, and the Cowboys' chances depend heavily on their ability to stay healthy and disciplined. The upcoming game against the Commanders is now even more critical, especially considering the potential impact of Flournoy's return and Perriman's suspension. From a strategic standpoint, how will Mike McCarthy and his coaching staff adapt to these developments? Will they rely more on the veteran players and focus on tighter coverage and safer play? Or will they push the limits, trying to galvanize the team's spirit after a tough loss? It's a delicate balancing act, especially with the playoff picture becoming increasingly clear. The coaching staff will have to make smart decisions, possibly adjusting the defensive schemes to compensate for Perriman's absence and maximizing Flournoy's emerging role in the offense. Now, let's compare this situation with other teams and players across the league. Perriman's suspension is not isolated. The NFL has been cracking down on dangerous hits, especially after recent high-profile incidents that have led to serious injuries and even lawsuits. This serves as a reminder that player safety is now a central concern league-wide, and teams must adapt accordingly. For the Cowboys, this is an opportunity to reinforce discipline and perhaps develop other players who can step into Perriman's role without losing a beat. In terms of player performance, Flournoy's resilience is worth highlighting. Coming into this season, he was seen as a promising third or fourth option, but injuries threatened to derail his progress. Yet he's shown grit and determination, earning the trust of Prescott and the coaching staff. His 4 touchdowns in limited opportunities speak volumes about his potential, and fans are already imagining him as a key piece in next year's offense, especially if he continues to develop chemistry with Prescott. As we look ahead, the future for the Cowboys is filled with both hope and uncertainty. The team has the talent and the coaching to make a playoff run, but these incidents, injuries, suspensions, and on-field struggles highlight how fragile that hope can be. The management will need to focus on not just game planning, but also fostering a culture of safety, accountability, and resilience. The upcoming games will be crucial tests of their ability to adapt and rise above adversity, and the next few weeks could define the trajectory of their entire season. Thinking about the bigger picture, what can we expect in the coming months? Well, if Flournoy continues to recover and prove his durability, he could very well cement his spot as a reliable target. Meanwhile, Perriman's suspension tests the depth of the linebacker core, and that's an area to watch closely in the next few games. The Cowboys will need to find a way to shore up their defense, perhaps leaning more on Micah Parsons and other playmakers to compensate. And let's not forget the importance of mental toughness. After a loss like this, especially with the controversy surrounding Perriman's hit, the team will need to rally around each other. The coaching staff's ability to motivate and get the players focused on the next game will be vital. With a critical NFC East matchup coming up, every decision, every play, and every effort counts. The Cowboys have shown resilience before, remember their playoff run last year, and they will need to channel that same fighting spirit now. So, what can fans expect in the coming weeks? More updates on Flournoy's health, more discussions about player safety and league discipline, and of course, the relentless pursuit of wins. The Cowboys are at a crossroads, and every game from here on out could be a defining moment. Will they respond to adversity with grit and determination? Or will the injuries and suspensions be too much to overcome? That's the story we're all eager to see unfold. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to think about the bigger implications. This incident with Perriman is not just about one hit. It's about the evolving culture of the NFL, where player safety is taking precedence over old-school toughness. It's also a reminder that every play has consequences, and that the team's future can hinge on a split second of judgment. The Cowboys are no strangers to drama and resilience, and this season has proven that they can bounce back from setbacks. but the road to the playoffs is still long and treacherous, filled with challenges, rivalries, and pivotal moments. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole situation? Do you think Perriman's suspension was justified? How do you see Flournoy's future developing after this injury scare? Are the Cowboys still a serious contender in the NFC? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and behind-the-scenes insights. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting our Cowboys through thick and thin. Remember, every season is a story, and right now the Cowboys are writing a new chapter, one filled with drama, resilience, and hope. Whether they rise or fall, we'll be here to analyze every moment, every play, and every decision. So, keep your eyes on the prize, Cowboys Nation, because the best is yet to come.